organizations, the Alabama A&M University Poetry Club, and thank you for your beautiful renditions of poetry tonight. The Alabama A&M University Delta Gamma chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha. I thank the Alabama A&M University Democrats and the Rising South Literacy School. Thank you so much for not giving in to the fear-mongering. Now, they say some pretty awful things about me. And Lord, if I was that bad, I wouldn't come to hear me myself. But you should ask yourself this question. When the school was leading in campus crime with 16 forcible sex crimes, 29 robberies, 63 aggravated assaults, 463 burglaries, did anybody come to help you out of this self-hatred that causes us to inflict harm on each other? Did anyone come? When you invited others who came and paid handsome money for them to come, and they spoke and called our women the B word and used other vulgarities, did anybody come to say we can do better? No. I heard that some of my brother pastors and some of the rabbis are meeting, and they wanted to make better relations in the city between black and white. That is a noble effort. But let me ask this question. How can you make better relations outside before you make better relations inside? How are you so clear on loving others while you neglect to teach your people to love themselves? Jesus said, the greatest of all the commandments is to love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second commandment is like unto it, that you should love your neighbor as who? Well, that's strange. Because we say God is love, but we don't live next door generally to whites. We live next door to each other. We are neighbors, but black on black crime is on the increase. We are neighbors, but robbery and rape and disrespect of our women is on the increase. We live next door to each other, but we're drunk on the weekends and we have lots of reefer and cocaine and party times. Now, next month I'll be 79 years of age. and I've never been arrested. So, tell me, why am I hated? When people come to hear what I teach, they come drunk and they go away sober. We never reject those that are on the corner selling their bodies tonight. We call them like Jesus called Mary Magdalene. But when she left him, she was clean. We call the drug addict, we call the winehead, we call the burglar, the thief, the lowlife. We call those who disrespect their mothers and dishonor their fathers, but yet when they leave us, they're better people. We go in the prisons and we correct murderers and take a non-productive people and make them productive. So for which one of these good deeds that we do you stone me? What have I done? I haven't been to Huntsville ever. This is my first time. So if there are problems here, you can't say that I created. If there's racism here, you can't say that I brought it. If there's injustice here, you can't say that Farrakhan did it. So why would you all gather together to say he shouldn't be here? What are you afraid of? You know, in the old days, which may be today, here in Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, and even in other parts of the country, they didn't like outsiders coming to disturb the plantation. So when an outsider came, that master thought might upset the plantation mentality, he would threaten the slave. Don't you listen to him. He's a hater. Well, you just met me. Who taught you to hate your black self? It wasn't Farrakhan. If you say you love God, why don't you love the way God created you? Since he's the author of diversity, he's the author of all of this that you see. So if he made us black with kinky hair, broad nose, thick lips, if I don't like me, how could I like the God who created me? A lot of you are buying these bleaching creams today. You go to Toys R Us and you pass by a little black doll. In fact, they may not even have one there. To buy a little white doll for your baby. Now, the white children are not going to pick up a little black doll. They want to see themselves. They have some degree of love for themselves. They know how to work together in a collective manner. What about you? So if Farrakhan comes to Alabama A&M, I come to correct a condition. And so I never would have made it without God. Because the hate that they build up for me, they wonder why I'm still living. Because some would be so happy if some would come in my life, but I'm here to tell all of you, this is one life you can't have. You can't have. I'm not only good for black people, but I'm good for you too. Yes, I can help you get out of what you deserve. You know, I'm coming back to Jesus again. He said, God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, the same shall he also reap. Well, when you sow the seed, it takes time, water, sunshine. But if you sow wheat, you don't go and get potatoes. You get back just what you sowed and then some. So if you've done evil to a people that God has come to save, then if you want to partake of that salvation, help the man of God to heal the problem that your fathers created. And if you help me to heal what I'm looking at, then God will have mercy on you and take you through the fall of this great nation into the next world, which they are to be the foundational stone of. Now, pastors, it's written that the stone that the builders rejected would become the headstone of the corner. The whole world has rejected us in the condition that we are in. But God has not rejected us. He said he would take the despised and the rejected. And he said, thou shalt no more be the tail. Thou shalt be the head. And the bottom rail would come to the top. And the last would be first. Not because you got it at Alabama A&M. It's the Lord's doing. And it is marvelous in our sight. Now, I'm so happy to be here. I'm more happy to be in Alabama and Mississippi and Georgia than I am in Chicago, New York, LA, because the greater the suffering of a people, the greater God's hand is to bring out of that suffering people the leaders who will lead them out of their suffering. Alabama, you have a great future. You just need to be prepared for the role that God intends for you to carry out. Now tonight, the time that we have, I want to talk to you about true education that will give you true preparation for your future. I'm in a great institution. I thank God for the founder, Mr. Council. I thank God for the vision that he had to set up an institution like this for us. He understood something that we may be losing the meaning of. He understood the value of the land. He understood the value of what the land can produce. Booker T. Washington, just down the road a piece in Tuskegee, he understood your role, present and future, so he set up an institution that would give us first mastery of the land and what the land produces, that we would never have to beg somebody for a job. But with our mastery of agriculture and mechanical engineering, science, we could create jobs. So I'm here tonight to question what we are learning and how we're using it. I came across an article the other day on my iPad. Yeah, the minister got to get modern. And it was talking about, it raised the question, if Bill Gates were black. Let's see. You've heard of Bill Gates, haven't you? Look at what this man wrote. I think he's a black man, but it doesn't make any difference what his color is. I just want to deal with what he said. He said, for much of the past century, African Americans pursued social justice through governmental intervention, the ballot box, and ultimately elective office. While the number of black mayors and elected officials in this country is impressive, the number of black entrepreneurs is not. You're right, sir. He said, as a result, job creation in underserved communities and among the black middle class is stagnant. Well, I think he has a point, don't you? Yes. He writes, the main driver of freedom in the world today is not the vote, but access to capital. Yes. But he said, when I speak of capital, I obviously mean financial capital, but I also mean the Latin root word capitas, or knowledge in the head. You know, when you decapitate somebody, what do? Well, capitas, from it you get capital, is rooted in what you got in your head. So that is why education and the proper education is so necessary, because if you don't have the right knowledge in your head, you will not be able to do what God intended for us to do. Now, to those, my family, my Seventh-day Adventist family, thank you so much for coming from Oakwood. Thank you, the singers. Thank you for your beautiful songs. Thank you, my brother who sang, I never could have made it. Thank you for the poetry. Thank you for the welcome. And I understand that Alabama State in Montgomery is getting this live feed. I understand that Tuskegee is getting it. I understand that Stillman in Tuscaloosa, Omega Psi Phi Rho Gamma chapter is getting it. And I understand that Miles College in Birmingham is getting it. And I hope that Drake is also getting it. You know, I thought a lot about Mr. Council and what he did, and I thought about Mr. Drake. He was president here for 35 years. He must have done a good job to remain that long. College presidents have difficult jobs, especially black college presidents, because we don't have the resources that the white schools have. So when our president has to go before the legislature, he has to go, you know, and ask for money. When you don't have, you have to ask. Look at how Alabama A&M started. You see this building here. You see your new library. You see your new Drake School of Technology and whatnot. Somebody had to ask for some money. Since, you know, we are not treating mama right, you call this our alma mater, your other mother. But when we matriculate or leave and get into professions and make money, do we come back and offer some money to the school to help the endowment fund so that the school can continue to grow from the strength of its graduates? No, we don't do that. And maybe we're the same people who will put our mother in a nursing home, or our father or our auntie or grandma who's suffering from dementia or other things, but grandma never abandoned us. Grandma looked after us when we weren't able to look out for ourselves. And don't you think that when our parents get old, they should never have to feel that they are abandoned, no matter what their illness may be? See, if there's enough love in you, you got to remember grandma and grandpa, and you got to remember your mother and your father and what they have suffered to put us here. So tonight, I want you to reflect, as you are the children of some suffering ancestors. I'm going to say it again. You young giants, you're here because your ancestors paid a heavy price for you to be here. You must not betray their suffering by getting an education and acting a fool with it. You must not betray your ancestors by playing away your time, smoking away your time, high in the class. Listen. Betraying the ancestors by using our time here to party. Your great-grandmothers, sisters, they didn't dress like prostitutes. They sold for white people to dress nice, though they dressed in burlap. But today, you don't know how to sew anymore. Hardly know how to cook anymore. But this is the booty-shaking generation. So the enemy dresses you in a way that would be disgraceful in the presence of Jesus. many of you see movies of Jesus the Christ that come on television every Easter and every Christmas? Have you seen these movies? Of course, the Jesus is always Caucasian, though that's not a fact. Oh, wait, I'm going to get there. Look at the women around Jesus. Which one of the women that were around Jesus had on a miniskirt? Not one? How many of them that the garment was so tight that Jesus couldn't preach? Not one. And you say you want to meet Jesus. How would you meet him? With your dress cut so low that babies start crying thinking it's feeding time? How are you going to meet him? Looking like the unfortunate sister who's selling her body tonight. But you're a college graduate and you walk around men looking like you want them to be attracted to your beauty but not attracted to the intelligence of your mind. See, Reverend, you should have been championing my coming here. Because I'm really saying what you should be saying. See, this hypocritical love of Jesus, while you're in love with the world, that Jesus condemned. So we're going to get it straight tonight. And we're going to leave here a little stronger, a little wiser, a little better. And you're going to say, wow, I know I can make it now because I got the right knowledge in my head. Now, it doesn't matter what color Jesus was. If Jesus were actually white, that's fine. If he were. But he was not. Farrakhan, come on now. Yeah, I'm going to come on. Suppose Jesus looked like you. You don't want him now? He said he came unto his own, but his own received him not. And the light shined in the darkness, but the darkness comprehended it not. See, if you know he's coming back, don't you think you should have some idea of what he looks like? So you got the right name, you got the right man, but you don't know him. Ooh. Suppose, my Jewish friends may be here, you know. You just came through Seder for Passover, and you leave a door open, you know, for Elijah. Come on. And you leave a place at the table for Elijah. Suppose Elijah came. Who is it? Shalom. It is Elijah. And he's black. See, now what would you do? You call 911. There's a nigger at the door claiming he's Elijah. Send the police right away. Because you're not trained to accept wisdom from a black person, no matter how wise that black person is. Jesus was a black man. Wait now. In the book of Revelations, he says, I am the seed of David, the root of Jesse, the bright and the morning star. David was a sign of the Messiah. Now, you know the story of David. Let me just rehearse it a little. You know, Samuel told Jesse to bring out all his sons because one of them he was there to anoint. You know, the people wanted Saul. They wanted a king. So God said, okay, we'll give you a king. But that wasn't God's choice. See, people, you always choose something that look good, speak good, but not so good. Saul was a great warrior for Israel. But God told him through the prophet, when you go in here, you don't take no spoils. You kill the men, the women, the children, the ox, everything. That's in your Bible. I didn't make it up now. Sometimes God is so displeased with a people, he'll kill them all. What you gonna say? He's a hater? He's a lover, but he loves righteousness. So if you anger him to the point where he will kill you, or he sends someone to do it, well, Saul fought, he won, then he took some spoils. Some of this, some of that. And he came back with the spoils. And the prophet Samuel said, did not you hear the command of God? He said, well, the men, they fought so hard, they deserve a little of the spoils. He said, because they sacrificed so much. And Samuel said, obedience is better than sacrifice, because obedience to God is the highest manifestation of sacrifice, because you give up your will to do the will of God. And that's what makes Jesus and Muhammad and the prophets so special. Because Jesus said, not my will, thy will. You know how we say that in Arabic? Islam. He was a Muslim. Well, I don't know nothing about that Muslim stuff. I'm a Christian. Well, I am too. What? Now, Farrakhan, how could you be a Christian and a Muslim and I'm a Jew too? Say, now this boy is really confused. No. When you understand the root of being a Jew and being a Christian and being a Muslim, if you go to the root, it's the same. Let me show you how. What is a Jew? A Jew is a person with a special covenant relationship with God based on their obedience to the laws, statutes, and commandments of God. That's a Jew. Well, what's a Christian? Now, you that study the Bible, nowhere in the Gospels does Jesus say, I'm a Christian. Don't be angry. Pick up your Bible and look. He never said, I'm a Christian. So why are you fighting people who say there's something else? You should ask, what was Jesus? If he didn't say that. In fact, the word Christian didn't even come into mention in the Gospels. Only after Paul was at Antioch preaching about Christ did the people call the followers of Jesus Christians. Talk to me. Now, what is a Christian? It's a great name. You don't have to be ashamed of it, but you should be ashamed to say you are what you are not. To be a Christian means to be crystallized into oneness with Christ, following his example. As Jesus was one with the Father, if you are one with him, you are crystallized into that unity with him. Then you can call yourself as a Christian the body of Jesus Christ. Come on now. See, so having a cross on your neck doesn't make you a Christian. That doesn't make you a Christian. Looking sanctimonious when you go to church. Do you know that there's no church, no mosque, no synagogue more valuable than the human being? Did you know that the Kaaba at Mecca and the Basilica at Rome and the fine hands of man that have made these magnificent structures, not one of them is equal to the handiwork of God, which is this magnificent human body. This is the real house of God, but you gotta let God in his house. Well, wait a minute. How can I let him in? Open your ear to his word, because he's coming in through the word. Once you let the word in the ear and it enters the heart, he begins to change you in accordance with the word. That's how you become a true Christian. Well, what is a Muslim? One who submits his or her will to do the will of God following the noble example of Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the seal of the prophets. Well, how many real Muslims are in the world today? How many real Christians are in the world today? And how many real Jews are in the world today? I'm not trying to blaspheme, but the hypocrisy in religion must end. And if we believe that we are at the end of this world's time, then you should be looking for, in the Islamic world, you're looking for the Mahdi. And with the Mahdi is Jesus the Messiah. Come on. Christians, don't you say you're looking for Jesus' return? What do you think he come to do? Let's go out to meet him. I love my people regardless of our condition, because if we are homosexual or lesbian, so you can't say they're bad and we are fornicators and adulterers and liars and thieves, for all of us have fallen short of the glory of God. But Jesus comes back into the world to correct. See, if you knew him, you would be trying to get yourself together to meet him, if you knew him. But you have him in your heart, and I love when you sing about him, you get the Spirit, you get the Holy Ghost, but then you go home, or you pass by the liquor store and you get a little something to help you out. Well, now let me finish this. You say, Farrakhan, you're supposed to talk about true education. Well, I'm starting where the problem is. The problem is spiritual. And if Christians, Muslims, and Jews hate each other, and this is the family of Abraham that is creating this havoc all over the world, then don't you think that when Christ comes back, he wants to straighten out the family? That's Muslims, Christians, and Jews. So am I anti-Semitic? No. I got to question that. Now, some of you would say, Farrakhan is an anti-Semite. What have I done? No Jewish person have I or any with me ever physically stopped, violated. Our Quran teaches us that if we see somebody writing a swastika on a Jewish synagogue, we are to stop them. Because any house where God's name is remembered is a house that we should respect. Now let's listen, this is our teaching. So when somebody wants to blow up a synagogue and they come out of the mosque, is your hatred that much that you want to go and kill innocent people? The Holy Quran says, let not hatred of a people incite you to act unjustly. It didn't say we would not have some hate in our heart, but what do you do about it? If you are the right